Hi, this is Sarah with Connect Our Elders, and today I'm here with Shifra Baltinester, the CEO of SocialBRIDGE. So I hope I did not hack your name too bad. I really appreciate you being with us here today. I have definitely been following the work that you're doing, via social media. I've been keeping up with the things, and I can tell that your heart is 100% focused towards helping our elders. So with that said, could you tell us about what is SocialBRIDGE? What's the mission? What's the vision?
So SocialBRIDGE is, first of all, it's a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to alleviate elder loneliness and to build relationship between the generation. I truly believe that if we create those connections between generation, we will create much more stable society. I often say that, I see society as a house, and the elders are the foundation of the house. If the foundation is shaky, the whole house is unstable.
Absolutely. And I think that I'm interested to hear what you have to say about this. So I very much grew up with my grandparents as part of my life. I mean, I would sleep over there often, and I had both sets of grandparents. And so I think I have seen some articles here and there about how the relationship between the grandchildren and the grandparents is so important. But over time, our society has become increasingly geographically separated, right. And so it has chipped away at those familial relationships. And so how does SocialBRIDGE help with that particular factor?
So the mission, as I said, was to alleviate elder loneliness. The vision I have is, imagine a situation where you are here in San Diego and you go and visit your neighbor 5 doors down the street once a week, every other week, just building relationship with them. Their children live in Arizona and they visiting someone else in their neighborhood whose their children live in Oregon, and you get the picture, right?
Yes.
So because we become such a transient society where and in the US is more than many other places in the world where it's huge. And frankly, even we go to Orange County here from San Diego, it's still 2 hours on the road. It's a long time to be on the road to go and visit, in between soccer, basketball, swim, dance, and all the slew of activities. So if we create those little communities where, in a sense, we're adopting the elders in our neighborhood, we can mimic the good old sleeping over with grandparents or having relationship with grandparents.
Right. I love that. So basically we're going to mimic how it really would be, but it's basically, my children don't have access to their actual grandparents because we live in this state. So can we borrow your grandparents for this? And, and that's going to really help the elder and the grandchildren to be able to develop, to have that social interaction.
Yes.
I just had this huge vision in my mind of this network spreading out across the United States.
Exactly. And just imagine, you have those images when, in technology, you have all the network, you have the dots connecting the network. Yes. I see a map like that where the dots are the people and the connection between them.
Right. That is so beautiful.
It's fascinating.
So what is your why behind this? What led you to have this vision?
So what happened is in 2018, after 18 years as a director of technology in a private school here in San Diego, it was time, like any teenager, to leave home. And really the school I have a lot of passion to education and to relationship and really understanding people so we can connect much better. And so after 20, left, and I went to meet my mom. My mom is right now 94, approaching 95 January, and she lives in Israel, which is far away. I'm trying to get there twice a year. Unfortunately, with COVID, is not as easy. But
Yeah.
when I went there, as always, sitting at lunch with her friends and hers, and they were talking, sharing about family. But suddenly, I have no idea what, but I heard what they're not saying. It was, for example, someone say, my son is so successful. He's now the manager of the department. He's working so hard. So in the weekend, he just want to rest. So I hardly see them. And another one say that no one had time to stop work and come picking her up for a wedding. So she didn't go to the wedding. And
Oh,
exactly. And it was like, oh my God, they're so lonely.
they are lonely. And I think because from my experience, and I carry a lot of guilt about this, and I'm constantly working through that, but it's the guilt of I didn't go home and see my grandparents a whole lot when I left, and I don't see my mom a whole lot. I didn't see my dad a whole lot. So, but it's the thing is, the grandparents and your parents will never tell you, well, that's my experience, and that is my experience. When I'm talking to a lot of them, like, they will never say, hey, it's really bothering me that you don't come and see me. I wish you'd come see me. Because what they lead with, because they're your grandparents and parents, is how proud of you they are,
Right.
that you are, succeeding. But they keep all of that loneliness tucked inside. It's really
Really,
sad.
really. Yeah. And it's exactly that. And it's interesting because after that, I tried to push it away because I had other plans, but it kept bothering me. So I started reaching. I said, for sure there is a solution out there. I'm sure there is at least one organization that decided to tackle that. I couldn't find anything. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, it doesn't make sense. So now my second step was I need to check if it's only my mom and her group of friends, which might be, or it's much bigger scale. And I interview about 100 plus by now, seniors and professionals. And like you said, it was most common answer was we don't want to be a burden on our kids or grandkids. They're so
Yeah.
busy. They're doing so well. We are so proud of them. That was the theme. But
Yeah.
when I asked them straight, because that's who I am, I'm
Me too.
very open and I'm asking frank question. I'm not going around. I want to know the truth. I
Mm-hmm.
asked them how often they feel lonely. They said, most of the time, and especially at night, because in the morning they have a lot used to have, right? It's a problem with COVID, but they could go to a senior center, they could go to the church, they could go somewhere. But they say when we're coming home, the wall falling on us. It's just us on TV. So it's a problem. And I said, okay, whoever I am with my heart and compassion and the values I'm living by, said I cannot let it be. I have to do something.
Yeah, I applaud your passion for this, because when I think about it, it makes my heart hurt, because you guys, those of you in the audience, think about this. It's not like it's just a couple days. I mean, we have elders in our society that are going a month or
Without.
more without actual social interaction, and day after day. So think of the times when you've been lonely yourself, and then just think about that for years that they suffer through this loneliness.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Now, and the thing is too, it's only been exacerbated by COVID. And I think it was you, Shifra. I think I saw a post from you on social media, you had a gentleman that said, and I think he was 87, and he said that he would rather die from COVID than die from loneliness.
Yes, yes, and that's what they are. Actually, I spoke with my mom. I'm speaking with her every day this morning, and she said, I'm tired of it. What the point for me to be isolated and not to be able to see anyone?
Mm-hmm.
There is no point in life when we cannot interact with each other, with the people we love, with the people that care about us,
Right.
whatever the situation is. And it's COVID. The problem of loneliness didn't happen with COVID. COVID, I say with the no regret and no, COVID was the biggest present gift that the universe gave the older population, because it put the spotlight on their loneliness, and it just made it much bigger, because even the limited interaction they had, they lost. But it was here before, and if we will not do something as a society, it will stay here.
It
And
will.
then it will be the next pandemic.
So I pay attention to what you and your husband, you guys do a lot of deep thinking, and you share that with all of us. And I love that. But I love how you guys have a knack for taking something and no matter what, finding the positive that can come from it. And so I absolutely agree with you that the one thing is that people are actually having conversations about our elders and speaking seriously about how we can better connect them and provide for them. And that needed to happen.
Yes.
So how do you go about connecting people or providing this companionship or this connection? I don't know if you're actually doing physical companions or if you're using some sort of technology platform, or how you guys operate.
Look, although I was the director of technology for 18 years, I believe technology has more than 50% of the issue of loneliness, not just with the elders, but with society in general. With the elders, it's even more, because we think that this device solved the problem. At the end of the day, human beings need the human physical connection. So we don't need to hug every time. We don't need to hold hand every time, but just to sit and talk eyes to eyes with no glass in between us.
Aren't we like a pack animal?
Totally. We are. And it's more than a pack. Sometimes even just to have one or two people around you that cares about you is enough. But because we become such a busy society and running after the activity and to do more and get bigger house, bigger car, better kids, everything is a competition about how bigger is. We have no time. We lost time. I don't know if you saw my post from a few days ago where I went to work and I forgot my phone.
Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah.
And suddenly the 30 minutes break that I had was much longer.
Yeah.
I was not checking my email, answering clients' question. It was not. It was quiet.
So
Go ahead.
I was thinking about this, what you were just talking about, how our time, we have no time because we're working so hard. We're so busy trying to get the nice car, the big house, and this, that, and the other. But I really thought about that. I don't remember what brought it up in my mind the other evening, but it was the question of, is it really that we don't have enough time to reach out to people and connect with them? Or is it because we are choosing with our free time to mindlessly scroll? And I make a point now, in my own social media, like it's very strategic. I use it a lot for business, right? And I do use it to connect with friends and stuff. But I remember there's been times where I'll just mindlessly scroll because I'm just passing time. Well, if that's the case, why not actually send a message to somebody if you are opting to use the social media, or pick up the phone and call, or go and visit?
Right.
I feel
So
like it's a matter of prioritizing what we do for
exactly,
that time. Mm-hmm.
exactly. In society, again, and I'm talking especially in societies, I don't believe it's only in the United States. However, in the United States, like United States, everything is bigger and more extreme. And the problem is that we think the youth are the only future, that when we see someone old, it basically put the mirror in our face and show us the truth that we will get old and we will have wrinkles,
Yeah.
and at the end we will die. So it shows
Yep.
us the truth, and we don't like to see the truth, many of us.
But there is no
Many of
avoiding it. And that's the thing. Like, if you worked
there,
with people that like you and I work with,
exactly.
you realize after a while that it is a reality. So you may as well embrace it. And, like what I say for my organization, Connect Our Elders, empower it, right? So let's deal with it in an
Exactly.
empowered way with resources. And let's,
It's more
you
than
know,
dealing, it's
mhm.
respecting it.
Oh, I like that. I really like that.
It's respecting, because look, and I spoke with someone yesterday and I was really angry because we go into artificial intelligence and we go into artificial taste and we go into artificial flavor, and soon enough we will go into artificial people. But it's
Mm-hmm.
artificial, it's not true, it's
Mm-hmm.
not reality. It's
Mm-hmm.
just something we create to minimize our guilt, to think that we're solving a problem, although we don't. And honestly, don't even think that artificial intelligence can replace the real intelligence, because
The
the
real human connection.
and it's even the intelligence and the wisdom they carry from life experience. We,
Right.
as
What
a
about the
child,
fabric? Mm-hmm.
yes,
The fabric of society and passing
yeah,
down the stories. I mean, that is how
exactly,
our culture is built, and that's how societies progress forward, right? Is the trickle down of the stories, generation after generation, or the values, the
right,
traits, and the experiences. So
right. And
that
the
is
question is,
something.
yeah, and what do we want our grandkids or grandkids to have? Do we want them to have artificial intelligence tell them how they need to live their life? No, we want people to tell them, because
Mhm.
the artificial intelligence will never be able to replace the depth of the human wisdom. And that we can only get from the people
Yeah.
in our neighborhood, our grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
our older teacher from second grade that she's 90 some now.
Mm-hmm.
We need to keep them part of the community, not throw them away. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you see that too.
I
Sorry.
do. I don't be sorry. I could talk about this stuff all day long. So what I see a lot is there are lots of resources, of course, and there are wonderful community resources that people can take advantage of. But oftentimes what I'm running into is that if people need assistance or they need this interaction, they're having to pay for it, right? And
Right.
it can be quite expensive. And so the question is, what do we do? What do we do for these elders that we have in our community that are, just desperate for some sort of interaction, but can't afford to pay, $27 to $32 an hour for it? What can we do for
Right.
them?
So what the Social Bridge work with a framework that called ICU plus E, which is we identify the needs, we connect between or with the people. We understand the situation and their needs, and then we educate the people. So people that volunteer, and right now it's only volunteer based, although I'm really thinking of increasing the capacity of servicing seniors. We really train our volunteers to create the connections, and
Yeah.
the connections need to be built. It's not, I always, it's like dating, right? You don't go to the
Yeah.
bar, you don't go to the bar and pick up a boy and say, hey, let's go date. You create the relationship.
I don't know. I'm pretty aggressive. I mean, I'm married now, but
In the past, I know, I believe you can say I was aggressive too, but but still, the most people, right? And I believe, Sarah, that you and I really have no problem go knocking on the next door neighbor, older person, and start the connection with them, right?
right.
So yes, we have this ability to build relationship. And actually, what Social Bridge do is basically helping organization to manage their relationship with their elders. So the organization itself, like the house, will be much more stable. So we working with organizations to build a, a stronger community, including the elders. And we're working with the individuals to go and visit the neighbors, because the idea is convenience.
Right. So there's like that geographic
Exactly.
locality to it, meaning you're matching volunteers based on, if they're geographically closer,
Neighborhood.
right? So because you're
Yes.
trying to build the community at large, which is going to really involve the elders, not only just because they have a volunteer going to visit them, but you're building the fabric of that specific community.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because strong community is a safe community, is a community that you really feel home at, is a community that you feel comfortable. It's the community that you feel welcome, and that reduce hate, violence, crime, and everything.
So there's that element to it too. I like that. We have a question from a friend of mine, Paul Sivolani. Paul, I apologize because I think I tried to say your name one other time and I didn't know how to say it. We should really get on the phone call so you can tell me how to say it right. But anyway, Paul has a question, and the question is, what happens if the senior is not technology literate and we're still dealing with COVID? So it sounds like this question is centered around using technology to facilitate
Right.
this connection. But if what I'm hearing from you, Shifra, is that you guys are using volunteers that obviously you screen and make sure are
Right.
safe to go and do the human connection, right?
Right. So even with COVID, there's still the safety protocol. So when I'm going to visit elders, when my volunteer going to visit, we all having masks and we all having gloves, and we keeping the distance. Some I will visit outside. We sit 6 feet apart, and we have a conversation, just to see someone smile to you, even from 6 feet apart, make a huge difference um, in their total feeling and being, because they know I did an effort to come and visit them. I care enough to keep them safe and to keep myself safe, because if I will sick, I will not be able to visit them, right? So there is that synergy. I'm going back because I'm going back to a child and a mom. There is synergy between the child and the mother. They both know they want the best for each other.
Yeah.
And just by that feeling that someone cares about you, you feel better and more protected and safe.
An automatic boost to the psychosocial well-being of the
Yes.
elder is what I'm
Yes.
thinking. And I feel like everybody has a desire to be seen.
Right.
And that doesn't go away. People, I think you often will think about, oh, the toddler, mommy, look at me, or daddy, look at me, and of course, as we're growing, we want people to see us and what we're doing
Right.
and all of that, but that does not go away just because somebody becomes an elder. People
Totally
want
not.
to be seen.
Yeah, people want to be seen. And as I said before, I'm not a huge technology as a solution. It can be a solution, but it's not the solution, because at the end of the day, even if I'm talking with Sarah right now via technology, I'd rather meet in the coffee shop and talk face to face, because
Right.
it's not the same. There is different dynamic on technology or person to person. Again, we really strict about keeping safe distance, and everyone
Right.
understands that, I believe.
They do. Oh, I mean, I feel like people do these days. What I hear, if I had to put like super concisely what you're saying, is that of course there's a place for technology with keeping our elders connected, but technology cannot be a replacement for human
No,
interaction.
no, cannot and must, honestly, must not.
Must not. Okay.
I believe that us in the industry, we must fight against the notion that it can replace the physical visit with them.
Yeah.
And hopefully COVID will be end in the end of 2021, and we can go back to really openly visit and drink coffee together
Yeah.
and have more interactions. So yeah.
Absolutely. So, as an organization, God, I mean, I just want to express again how wonderful I think it is what you're doing, and the fact that it has a specific focus, right, which is generating that human connection. As an organization, what specifically can people help you with right now?
So right now, as a nonprofit, we need a donation. Honestly,
Mhm.
right now, because I want to grow the operation, and um, I feel we as society need much stronger and much wider network to work with it, and that will take time, money, and energy.
Yeah.
Um, every donation, every penny count, and that's what we need the most right now.
Mhm.
And donation can be made on our website, which is socialbridgeus.org.
Okay. Do you have a vision of expanding to other countries one day?
Yes, I first has the vision. I hope that in 2025 we will have present in every state within the United States.
I love it. I
That's
am.
my goal.
We definitely need to make sure that we meet offline from this podcast so we can
Yes,
discuss how we can much more closely collaborate
right.
to get you to that point.
Yes.
Because
Thank you.
this is definitely, you're welcome. This is so needed. Now, can you share with us what the process is? So if somebody right now in the audience is listening and they say they recognize that they have a neighbor who doesn't seem to ever have any visitors, what's the process? How can somebody get in touch with you? What's the intake process? How do you end up getting them a volunteer? What does it all look like?
So the flow is really, if you know a neighbor, contact us. You can, on the website there is the email and the phone number, but the phone number is 858-376-7880. And you can call me, you can call us, we will pick up the phone, and we start to get information, how much information you have. In the past, actually, when COVID just started, what we start doing is doing shopping for the seniors because they didn't want and shouldn't leave home. And it's a great way to start relationship. It's not on a social need that we less inclined to do. It's more on the very basic need of Maslow hierarchy where it's food.
Yes. Yes.
And,
I don't know if you know, so I have a nonprofit too, Vets for Elders.
right.
I mean, it's similar, but not as like specific as what you're doing. And in the beginning, when COVID happened, there were quite a few individuals that I had connections with who just needed the basics of
Right.
food.
Yes. So we get information. So the process that I had with one neighbor that called about her neighbor is, we need to have the consent to come and start talking with them, right? So first of all, we ask you if you mention it to them, and then if you just want to do it, what I will do, I will give you, few ways to start a conversation. Basically, icebreaker, if you may, how to really approach and don't, because it feels, if it's not part of your nature, it feels awkward. It's really, and I understand that. So we have ways of breaking that ice, and so it make it less awkward.
That's very unique. I mean, that is unique. I've worked for numerous caregiving agencies, right, throughout San Diego. And yes, caregivers do receive training, but there's not a whole lot of focused training on how can you develop a rapport with the client.
Yes.
Here is a list of icebreakers, and here's certain directions you can take the conversation. That would be so helpful.
Yes.
To any organization that is employing caregivers, I mean, or
Right.
any volunteers, right? Any of the organizations out there with volunteers that need that little extra mentorship
Yes.
on how to develop a relationship.
Right. And people call me as a master of relationship because it's very natural for me to create relationship. I go on the street, I say hi. After 3 times, said, okay, at this point, let's introduce ourselves. Right?
That's how I am too, but it's not natural for everyone. Like my
It's
husband,
not.
for example, I mean, he could be in a room with 5 people for an hour and not even say hi to someone. Like
Right.
that would be the extent of it.
Exactly. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. So what come natural for me, and with years, as you see, I have on my sleeve some experience. I learned that it's not natural for other people. So I start giving them tips how to do it so it's less awkward. And, again, for your husband, it might be, start a conversation in the last football game. There's not that many really these days. Or for my friend that know how to bake, I said, just take a plate with cookies. So again, it's part of the ICU is I need to identify, I need to understand, I need to connect. Once I have the picture, I have solution for almost everyone.
I love that. So tell us again, what is ICU? And then you said there was an E. So what does it stand for?
So ICU is identify, connect, understand, and educate.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
I am telling you right now, like your organization is going to grow. I have a very distinct feeling that it is going to grow, and it's going to grow quickly. And so I know I had asked you earlier what you need, in that process. And so for those of you listening, and then, I will be resharing this once I convert it to a YouTube. So I'll make sure that we put a call to action in there for donations, because.
And basically, we said $30 in $30 a month, which is less than $1 a day. You sponsor a senior to have someone to come and visit them.
I got that. Okay.
Connect with them, shop for them, whatever they need. We will not take everyday activity. That's no, we don't do.
Right.
we are just about the social interaction, which we all so need. Everyone.
Well, see, it would be mutually beneficial. It's not
Yeah.
as if the elder is the only one that's going to benefit from
No.
this concerted effort to connect. I mean, social interaction is a mutually beneficial experience.
Totally.
I mean, pending that it's a positive interaction and it's not some sort of, abusive situation.
And
right?
of course, and that's why we screen people, and I have a very cute story about a boy that started to pen pal with an older woman in assisted living. And there was he didn't feel comfortable. He didn't feel seen, right? Looping back to the beginning of the conversation. And she basically gave him a lot of wisdom so he can feel better about himself and really see his situation from the family perspective and not just for him. So she was able to connect with him and show him something else, because a lot of kids, especially between the age of 10 and 25, they're not willing to listen to the parents.
I mean, my daughter's 11 and that's already started happening. She thinks that she is so much smarter than I am.
Yes.
And I was not expecting for this to happen until she was like 16. I was not expecting for it to happen at 11.
Yes.
She's still a good kid, but I can definitely relate to that statement that you just made.
Right. And if she would connect to a senior that understand her situation, everything can be better, because then she can even bitch and moan about you, which is healthy. Honestly, it's healthy.
It is. Yeah.
But she has wisdom on the other side to calm her down, not to put more gas into the fire, just to put a little bit.
I'm sorry, is this part of SocialBRIDGE where you guys are matching up pen pals basically between elders and then younger kids?
Yes, right now it's pen pals, right? Before, again, we're trying to find and there is a magic in the writing and the reading that not necessarily exists in technology.
I love that. I mean, I think that I was talking about something else a few days ago. I don't remember specifically what, but it had to do with the fact that we've gotten away from the written word, like actually writing and taking the time and just doing that can be very therapeutic. Or people love to receive mail now.
Yes.
That's part of my marketing strategy actually is sending out actual mail where they have to open the envelope, with a handwritten note, because we've gotten so far away from that for a long time now.
Yeah. I actually have something, it's not a letter mail, but right now I'm piloting something called Breaking Bread. And
Breaking Bread, okay.
Yeah. And the idea is that, when you donate $65 or more, you get 2 loaves of bread.
Oh my God.
One for you and one you need to take to an elder in your immediate community.
This is phenomenal. I'm so excited that I'm having the opportunity to learn about this, and I cannot wait to help you more. What was that again? So you donate how much?
You donate $65 you donate $65. One time. If you want to do it monthly, there is a discount rate. But $65, you get a box with 2 loaves, 2.5 loaves actually. So the 2 loaves, one is for you, one is for the elder, and the half loaf is to someone you trust will continue the chain and will grow the network and donate, and we can continue that and start building that.
The network, the connections that we both see in our mind.
Yes.
We have a comment. I'm going to see if I can show it. Okay, so this is from Arlene Day. She's actually a girl that I grew up with. Her sister and I were the same age. So Arlene, thank you for commenting. She said, I agree, Sarah. I loved this, and I definitely will use these tips to social connect, hopefully with someone I typically wouldn't connect with. I believe everyone has a very reason for entering your life and molding us into who we are. I'm excited to hear more. Thank you for going live with us. Well, you are super welcome. And I think that
Yes.
what's unique about what she just said in there is that she is going to make a point to socially connect with someone that she typically wouldn't connect with. And I
Yes.
think that's important, how she said that, because I think that we always feel like, oh, we should connect with our grandparents, we should connect with our parents. But if they're not local or whatnot, let's actually make a concerted effort to connect with the
Right.
people that are around us, even if they're not our family.
Yes. And, when COVID just started on March 16, I was on channel 8 and then a few days later, channel 10 or vice versa. But really, my call was back then, go and check on your neighbors. And because everyone told them to stay home. And I believe there were a lot of people, because I keep hearing, oh, I saw you, and because of you I start checking on my neighbor. So I keep getting that echo feedback that that's what people do. And we forgot, again, because of technology. And I think technology is great, but what technology did is took us from the village like, neighborhood like living to something that is so far away from it. And
Mm-hmm.
what we need to do right now is bring it to the middle,
Yes.
and calm down technology, increase social human
Yes.
interaction, and let's marry it healthy together.
In a healthy balance. And
Yes.
I think that's something that we're always working against, um, it, when it comes to this type of stuff, is that it's easy to assume that somebody else is checking on that neighbor, right? And
Right.
so if you have everybody assuming that the other person is doing it,
Right.
chances are nobody's doing it.
Right. And it's a problem. And, you know, again, because we fearing so much from getting old, and we're doing all those technology surgeries that hiding the age,
Mm-hmm.
we're afraid to be infected by them.
I mean, my skin cream doesn't count, right? Like,
No.
so you're saying that people, with everything that is available to us in society, oftentimes people won't even realize that maybe somebody is as fragile as they might actually be,
Right.
or
And I was,
isolated, because the reality is people become increasingly isolated,
yeah.
because their friends literally start dying off, or their other family members have
Mhm.
passed away, and so their circle becomes tighter and tighter and tighter.
Totally. And smaller and smaller. And, when you get old, sometimes you will stop tolerate what you tolerate for 80 years. And you might be more frank, and you might have less guards on what you say and how you say things. And I always tell clients, I said, just take it, and don't take it personally as much as you can, because it's not you.
I
Just
say, you know
let's,
what? They've earned their right. Like, they no longer have to have a filter. They have earned it at that point.
yes. And, you know, me, I want to protect my volunteers too. So
Yeah.
again, it's that balance, and it's really to understand, to try and listen beyond the spoken words.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
Mm-hmm.
time when you listen to what people don't say, you will learn much more about them. And if you reflect back to them what they didn't say, you will hear the truth.
That's powerful. That's powerful. Do you think sometimes the stuff that can come out is it comes from a place of hurt and fear,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And I mean, also, because I've had many clients over the years where there's dementia, right? And
Hmm.
so it's not really them saying those things. And so it's important to keep that in mind, that you have
Right.
to step into their reality, right? Because maybe they can't step into yours anymore.
Right.
And so just to, I guess what it comes down to is just lead with love, you know?
Exactly.
Lead,
Yeah.
lead with
Love and
compassion.
care. Yeah.
Which brings me to, because I love it. In your email signature block, you have this thing that says, with motherhood, compassion, integrity, and respect. So we have a few minutes left. And so why don't we end with you explaining why those 4 different words are important to how you've established SocialBRIDGE?
Those 4 words is the values that I live and lead my life and everyone around me with. First and foremost, I'm a mother. And my friend was laughing and say, you know what? Creating SocialBRIDGE, you basically said, I'm going to take care of all the orphans in the world. The fact that they are very old, they're still orphaned and they need someone.
Many of them are, yes.
Yeah. So, motherhood is who I am. At the age of 8, they ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? I said, I want to be a mother. I want to have 8 kids and I want to stay a child. So I have 4 biological kids, and each one of them has at least one friend that feel like home here. So I said, I fulfilled my mission on that. And if you talk to my kids, they will tell you that sometimes I'm the most childish in the house.
That's you have to remember to play and be
exactly.
goofy. I mean,
Exactly.
life is like, why be serious all the time? Ugh.
Yes. So when I need to be, I'm serious. But I love to have fun. And I think when you have fun, you can bring much more compassion and care to your environment, because you can see things in a different glasses.
You just feel happier yourself.
Exactly.
So, we tend to treat other people much better when we're happier ourselves,
So yeah, and so that's about the motherhood and compassion. That's who I am. I have compassion. As a child, we lived in Israel, and I lived in a kibbutz with a communal way of living. And everyone that had a dog in Israel that didn't want them anymore came to any of the kibbutzim and put the dogs there, knowing someone will take care of them. And I always adopted those dogs and brought them home. And so, I always took care of those that needed care. When I was in high school, I always went and was like a big sister to someone. So it was part of who I was.
It's who you are. Yes.
Yeah, that's part of me. Integrity is, if you're out of integrity, you're basically out of my life. I don't like people that have no integrity. Don't try to butter me up or anything. Be honest, be true, and I will never cross someone with lack of integrity. It's really nothing. And that's part of the other side of integrity is respect. Because if I don't respect you, I cannot be in integrity with you.
Integrity,
and with life.
Yes, that integrity is paramount. I mean, it's one of my driving core values, because I feel like if you do not have integrity when you're dealing with people, you're not even giving them the option to choose whether or not they want to be associated with you, do business with you, whatever the case may be. But I am a stickler for honesty.
Or be honest with you, right? Because if you are out of integrity, everyone that doing business, relationship, life with you will be out of integrity. And then we create society that is yucky to live in.
Yeah, off kilter, right?
Yeah.
If you're not in integrity with yourself, right?
Right.
And I've never really thought of that in two different ways. So integrity and honesty, and how they're a little bit different, right? Or
Yes.
the feeling of being in integrity. But like
Right.
exactly, if somebody's not being or dealing honestly with you, then the chance is that you're out of integrity with yourself and you don't even know it, which is
Right.
dangerous. Yeah,
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So and Social Bridge is based on those values.
Mhm.
Compassion is the leading values of that. And alongside, not that far away from it, you have the integrity and respect. Because again, if you don't have respect towards the elders, that's what society have right now. Again,
Mhm.
in the bigger schemes, and we hear about elder abuse and elder scam that is huge
Oh,
right now, and it's breaking my heart every time I hear something. And uh, so Social Bridge integrate those core value into everything that we do, into the education, into the connection. In Social Bridge, like any business, the founder of the business bring their own value into the business. And
exactly. And so it sounds like your volunteers will have the same set of values. Otherwise, they
yeah,
will not be a part of the organization.
probably.
And what came to my mind right then is that not only are you providing this social connection for them. Now, if you're bringing volunteers to the table that have these same set of values, you're also providing like a protective force
Right.
for these elders to ensure that they don't have the scam artists or the other types of abusers
Right.
coming at them, because they will have contact with someone. A protector is what
Right.
you're providing in addition to social interaction.
Exactly. And look, and I know in San Diego there is a lot, and in California, but there's a lot of laws that supposed to protect the elders. But even with caregivers, even the caregiving companies not always know what really happened in the house. And when you have a volunteer that really come from the good of their heart to spend time with the seniors, you have another set of protective eyes on what's going on in the house.
A friend,
And a
a
friend.
real friend.
And in your situation, right? So if your parents and grandparents live so far away, someone is there to look, to make sure there is food in the fridge, to make
Yep.
sure the bill were paid.
Yep.
They will not check on it, but they can, with the training that I will do, they will have the tools to smell if something is wrong and just to raise the question in your mind.
Right, to contact the family, or right,
Yes,
contact you and have you contact the family and say, hey, we
right.
have some concerns right here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Because part of the system in non-sick situation, right? Non-COVID situation, is that there is every visit there is a report,
Hmm.
answering few basic questions for the volunteers again, so we can be another set of eyes for the families.
Wonderful. Well, I really appreciate, oh, we have one more comment. Love this conversation, so important, but I have to say I
Thank
love the
you.
hat. Well, thank you to
I
whoever this
love it too.
Facebook user is. I have lots of hats, but they're all ball caps. So this is my first one like this. And
I
thank you.
really like it too.
See, I'm
Yeah.
blushing now. Um, anyway, so Shifra, thank you so much for being the guest today. And to those of you listening, as a reminder, Shifra is the CEO of SocialBRIDGE, which is an organization specifically focused on creating social interaction and bridging the gap for our elders in the community, with dreams of being in every state in the United States by
Yes.
2025. So I will post the information to her organization. It is www.socialbridgeus.org, and you can
Right.
find the information on there. As a reminder, my name is Sarah, and my organization is Connect Our Elders. Our entire focus is providing education on various resources, the navigation through those resources, and ongoing advocacy, so that way we can connect our elders. Thank you so much again for being with me today.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And we need to connect offline too.
We will. We definitely will. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. Thank you.